Client acquisition is 80 to 90% all about your offers. You're paying for the expertise they have to solve that problem. You're making the services repeatable, which in turn makes the processes scalable. And most people, they complicate the process of sourcing leads. The easiest way to develop an appointment booking system is to invert the micro action chains. It's entirely possible to close high ticket deals in one 45-minute phone call with a cold prospect. In this video, I'm going to walk you through every single step that you need to take to grow and scale your video production or digital media business in 2024. For context, my name's Oliver Whitehouse. In the past, I've built and scaled up my own video production company to multi-six figures per year, and now I run this coaching business alongside the production company. Basically, what I do within the production business now is keep the business ticking over, take care of kind of the day-to-day top-level operations, and jump on the shoots that I need to jump on, as well as obviously keeping our clients happy. So with all of this being said, what I'm going to do is jump into a Google Doc that I've got prepared on the screen just here, and we're going to walk through every single step in as much detail as we can within this video to help you learn how to grow and scale your video production business in 2024. So let's jump into it. As you can see here, we're now in the Google Doc, and basically I want to start off this video with a disclaimer, right? So this is not a channel or a video that's full of kind of fancy editing tricks that's designed to maintain your attention or keep you engaged, right? This is straight up business advice. If you found yourself clicking on this video for either entertainment purposes or just for some kind of light thing to watch, you know, in the evening or whatever, then please click off now. Right? However, for those of you that are genuinely serious about growing a sustainable business that's going to serve you for years to come, then welcome to this video, and I can't wait to dive in. So what we're going to do is start off by reverse engineering this entire sequence, okay? So in order to understand the steps we need to take to grow and scale your digital media business, we're going to start with the end in mind and then reverse engineer those steps so we can see exactly each stage that we need to do to grow this thing, right? So let me jump onto Mara over here so we can break this down a bit further. And we'll zoom in just to start off, right? So what we want to do is obviously start with our end goal, okay? The end financial goal that we've got. Now that could be 10K a month, it could be 20K a month, it could be 50K a month, right? Whatever it means to you. But essentially, if we're talking about growing a business, then what we really need to do is look at the numbers, because unfortunately, money is the way that the world runs, and money is the lifeblood to any business. So that's why we talk about things in terms of kind of financial figures, right? Obviously, in order to get more revenue within the business, then we need clients. It's the main thing that we need to do in order to generate revenue for the business. But how do we get clients? And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. But the first next step in order to get clients is, of course, having a sales system in place, right? A sales system that can predictably generate anywhere between kind of 30 to 50% of the meetings that we book through the sales system that we've got over here. Now, obviously, the next stage, but like beneath the sales system, is the show up system, right? So getting prospects to actually show up on the calls that we book. And how do we do that? Again, we're going to talk about all of this in this video today. The next thing, other than the sales system, is of course the appointment booking system. So we need a system to be able to actually generate and book appointments for us in our business. In order to develop an appointment booking system, then we need a system to generate leads. So a lead generation system where we can take cold prospects, run them through our appointment booking systems, and get booked discovery calls at the end of it. And then again, in order to develop a lead generation system, we need a winning offer, right? So we need an offer that's going to get prospects curious, interested, and intrigued in order to book a call with us, because that's the way that we're going to get to actually sell them on the call. And then before we've got a winning offer, then lastly, we need a niche or a specialism, right? We need an area that we are a specialist in order to charge high ticket prices, book the calls, and also show prospects that we are the authority in that market in order to solve big problems. So let's jump back onto the Google Doc and start working through each one of these stages, like I said we're going to do. And we start off with niche and specialism, because picking a niche is one of the most important and profitable things that you can do for your business. At the start of your journey, this is what I did. But it must feel, you know, much safer to actually cast a wide net and basically just take any piece of work that kind of falls into that net. But this is the wrong approach. I don't want you guys to fall into this approach. What I want you to do is visualize this analogy right here, right? Who makes more money? A GP or a brain surgeon? Exactly. The brain surgeon, right? And the reason why the brain surgeon makes much more money than the GP, if you're in the US, basically a GP is a general practitioner, right? In the UK, they're kind of like our doctors, the people that we go to when we've got a problem. And the reason that a brain surgeon makes much more money than a GP is because they're solving a very specific problem that's taken them years to learn, understand, and develop how to do properly, right? In essence, you're paying for the expertise they have to solve that problem, and this is why they can charge so much. Picking a niche also means that you can copy and paste your processes and reduce the time it takes to onboard, process, and fulfill any new clients that you have. Okay, essentially you're making the services repeatable, which in turn makes the processes scalable. You know, if every time that you sign a new client, you've got to go through a bespoke pricing, onboarding, and fulfillment process, then what this is going to do is create huge amounts of operational drag in your business. And inevitably, that's going to slow down your growth, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to cover niches really specifically in a big video that I've got planned later. But for now, hopefully you can just understand why we need to pick a niche and be a specialist, right? The next thing is the winning offer. And client acquisition is 80 to 90% all about your offers, right? In order to make prospects curious enough to jump on a call with you, then you need to craft a winning offer that intrigues them to find out more. That's the only reason they're going to book a call, is to find out more about what you offer. An offer really is just simply the way that you position your product or service in the market, okay? And offers, they have strength, and that strength works on a scale of weak or strong, yeah? However, you can only assess how weak or strong an offer is when it's compared to other offers in your market. So an example could be, I sell videos that you post on social media, right? Or I sell a collection of creative assets that you can implement into your online marketing that help you create meaningful relationships with your audience, increase your inbound inquiries, and ultimately help you close more deals. So, which one of these offers has more strength? Right? It's clear. It's the last one, okay? But the latter is only stronger than the former when they're compared to each other. There's no binary scale within offer creation for assessing the actual strength of your offer unless it's compared with the market and with your competitors. And here are some key points about offers. So offers succeed when they elicit certainty and position themselves as the bridge the prospect can walk to cross the gap, right? Leaving their current situation and moving towards their desired one. Offers also succeed when they're unique and force the market to perceive a product or service differently when compared to your competition. Because markets don't saturate, offers saturate. Number 3 is that your product is not an offer. So what you actually do, that's not your offer, okay? Your service, again, is not an offer. Your guarantee is not an offer. A discount is not an offer. And a price is also not an offer. People get this so wrong, right? They think that their service is what they offer. It's not. Okay? And most of the competitors in your market do not understand the power of offer creation or even the process of creating one in the first place, right? You can gain a significant amount of leverage within your market simply by taking the time and effort to understand your niche's biggest problems and then creating your product or service around this problem to actually solve it. This is what people don't get. Then all you need to do is craft a winning offer that intrigues the prospects enough to take action, i.e. kind of booking a call with you, right? You also need to understand the process of how to build a winning offer if you ever want to succeed. So offers are basically kind of made up of these building blocks here. And that's the outcome, which is the promise, which aligns with the goals and desired situation of the market. The time frame, which is how long it should take to actually deploy the methodology and achieve the outcomes. The method, which is a clear methodology as to how the outcome is actually achieved. The secrets, which is your unique way of achieving the outcome and executing your methods. A safety net, which is of course a risk reversal, some kind of guarantee, basically a way for the prospect to feel safe and secure working with you. It should also be polarizing, right? So who's the actual offer not for? Who do you not work with? Because what this will do is make the people that it is for feel even more included. All right. And finally, pricing. So how much it costs to actually claim the offer and achieve the outcome that you're promising. And we're going to talk more on offers in a later video, the same with niches, because I can really dive into this in a lot of detail. But just for now, kind of those are the main steps, right? So now let's look at the lead gen system, because generating leads is basically, it's quite a simple process that most people overcomplicate. In essence, lead generation can be accomplished using the following 3 stages. So stage 1 is where does the niche actually exist? Stage 2 is where you can extract the data, and stage 3 is how you can extract the data. So the first stage is basically to understand where the niche exists and where you can find them. And this could be social media, it could be a Google search, it could be business directories, for example, right? Any of these places where the niche could actually hang out. The next stage is to basically find out where the data can be extracted. For example, in email marketing, we need to find the prospect's email address. So what we need to do is just think critically about where you can actually find this information. And more than likely, this information is on their website, on their contact page, any social media accounts they have, stuff like that. You can normally find the email in places like this. And the final stage is to then extract that data, right? You can do it manually, you're kind of using the processes that I just said, or you can use scraping tools, so page scraping tools like Hunter or Snov, for example. And all you need to do is basically find the prospect's name, email, website, and then probably phone number as well. So let me put this in here. And phone number, and then you have the leads, right? Nice and easy. So like I said, most people they overcomplicate this stuff, right? And you can also look at actually hiring lead sources as well, okay? So you can find lead sources on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr, for example. All you need to do is just type in lead sourcer and you'll get so many different options. And the best way to actually kind of find a lead source or find a person is to just pay them a low fee of $20 to $50 for like 100 sample leads. And then you can just check the quality of the leads once they deliver them and then hire them if the quality is sufficient, right? Again, most people, they complicate the process of sourcing leads, but all you need to do is all you need to have is kind of the right people and their contact information, and that's it. It's a simple process, really. Now let's look at an appointment booking system. Really exciting. I love appointment booking systems, but the next thing you need to do is develop a system to actually book the appointments, right? This could be outbound, inbound, email, social media, cold DM, YouTube content, database reactivations, paid ads, all of this stuff, right? The options really are endless for appointment booking systems. But the main point I'm trying to make here is that you just need to develop a predictable system where you can put cold leads in one end and then get booked appointments out the other end, right? And we do this through a combination of offers, results. You could also use kind of selfie videos, messaging, follow-up sequences, the lot, right? So I could literally talk about appointment booking systems all day, but I won't go into them in too much detail here, because the easiest way to develop an appointment booking system is to invert the micro action chain somebody would need to book an appointment with you, and then you can actually understand what stimuli needs to be placed in front of them to get them to book a call or become a client. So for example, here's our micro action chain for our cold email system, our cold direct message system. So basically it's like the prospect sees the message, they watch the permission video, they send a positive response, they watch the evergreen video sales letter, they send another positive response, they click our calendar link, select a time, provide the qualifying information, receive the meeting invite, show up for the call, agree to the meeting agenda, they answer our line of questioning, they listen to our pitch, they ask their own questions, they raise objections, they listen to our rebuttals, then they're convinced, they make a decision, they click the link to pay, they fill out their card information, and then they press the button to pay. And that is the entire micro action chain that somebody needs to go through from our cold direct message, the initial cold message, and then becoming a client with us, right? And the sum of all of the micro actions become the macro action of becoming a client, right? So all of this is basically a macro action of becoming a client with us, essentially. Now, what we can do, armed with this information, is basically just invert that chain that I was just talking about to essentially come up with a stimuli chain, right? So what we need to do is identify the prospect, then we need to send a permission video, then we check for replies, then we send our video sales letter, we again check for replies, then we send a Calendly link, have availability, have the Calendly questions and interface kind of structured and set up, have the invite link ready to go, the meeting reminders, we state the agenda once we're on the meeting, we ask the questions, we pitch the offer and the price, we answer the questions, we overcome the objections, then we close, we send the payment link, and then we wait for the payment, right? So that is the actual, that's the stimuli chain, the inversion of the micro action chain, which gives us all of the stimuli, right? So within this system, for the booked appointment, the stimulus is the permission video and the evergreen video sales letter. However, stimulus alone does not make a process. And again, I'll make another video talking about kind of processes and system theory if it's what you guys want to see. But we basically combine stimuli with a predictable method of creation and deployment, which could be an appointment setter or it could just be an SOP, right? A standard operating procedure. So basically, stimulus plus method for creation and deployment equals your process. And a macro client acquisition system is made up of lots of processes. So each one of these is a process. And as we talked about before, this whole thing here is everything that somebody needs to do in the macro system of becoming a client with us, right? So hopefully that all makes sense for you. But the final stage of your appointment booking system is to outsource it, right? So you as the business owner, you don't need to be running these systems all day long. All you need to do is just develop them, get a proof of concept, and then outsource them to either an appointment setter, a virtual assistant, or maybe another member of your team in order to actually run these systems for you. Because obviously you need to focus on growing the business, taking the sales calls, getting new clients, just everything else, right? But you need to actually be the person that develops it first, okay? And now let's take a look at the show up system. So of course, booking appointments is one thing, right? But getting prospects to actually show up on the call is a whole different ballgame. And you have to understand that we're booking calls with busy business owners who really, they have important things to do in their day, right? Your offer, it needs to be compelling enough for them to actually take an hour out of their day to speak with you. And that's a big ask for some people. You know, essentially, a show up system is a series of reminder notifications that the call is actually happening, okay? So at Whitespace, we use Calendly to book all of our appointments with prospects, right? And we then use the native features inside of Calendly so that the prospect receives either an email or an SMS reminder 24 hours, 1 hour, and 10 minutes before the call is due to start. This way, there's no chance in hell that somebody could actually forget that their call is happening. And at the very least, by giving them these reminders, they might see that they can't make the call and then they'll just reschedule it, right? So developing a show up system into our business has actually increased our show up rates from 50 to 60% to 80 to 90%. So that's why a show up system is so important, because you can have the best appointment booking system in the world, but if prospects actually don't show up for the call, then it's pointless, right? You're only getting 50 to 60% of the appointments that you booked. So a show up system is super important. And now a sales system. Again, one of my favorite systems, but most creative people, they're scared of sales, right? Let's face it. Trying to convince a business owner to become a client is a hard and painful process to go through. And as most people are so scared of sales, they just simply roll over and they don't even try to close the deal on the call, right? The most that they might find out about the project, the most they might do is actually find out about the project, send over kind of a fancy quote or proposal that looks nice that they spent way too long developing, and hope that it gets a response, which of course it rarely does, right? I hope this sounds familiar to you, because it could be the way that you're going about your sales process. Not very good, right? Sales is the most high leverage skill that you can learn as a business owner, right? I'll say it again. It's the most high leverage skill. As a business owner and a human in general, right? Because everything is sales, okay? Going on a date is sales, finding friends is sales, getting a job is sales, right? And without going too far into the details here, there is only one reason why somebody would choose to buy something in the first place, and that is pain, right? Because they're in pain. The pain of their current situation, the pain that they can't scale their business, the pain that they're overweight, pain that their car isn't nice enough, pain that others don't view them as successful. Pain is the driving force behind the entire economy and capitalism in general. So this is so crucial for you to understand here. Your job as the salesperson is to essentially understand where the prospect is currently at and why it's causing them pain, and then where they want to be and how your product or service could alleviate that pain, right? All you need to do is basically just position yourself as the bridge the prospect can cross to get out of their current painful situation and step into their new desired situation, right? And you can basically break the sales system down into the following 4 stages. So initially, we have the discovery, which is asking questions and understanding their situation. Then we've got the pitch, which is pitching your services if the prospect is a good fit for what you offer. We've then got objection handling, which is removing doubt that the prospect has about your product, your service, your offer, all of this stuff. And then we've got the close, which is getting the prospect to pay you on the call, right? And we really could go into extreme levels of detail on each stage, but really the sales system should only contain 1 or 2 calls, okay? It's entirely possible to close high ticket deals in one 45-minute phone call with a cold prospect. And how can I say this? Because I've done it multiple times, right? Some people watching, they may even be a client of ours, yeah? You know that we can close deals in 1 or 2 calls really, really easily. It's just following the process, right? And people who think that a prospect needs a detailed proposal or a breakdown of costs or a full plan before they can commit to making a decision to work with you or not are simply terrible salespeople, right? They would much rather exist in the comfort of a maybe than in the cold, hard truth of a no, right? Because at the end of the day, if the prospect leaves the sales call without a binary yes or no to work with you or not, then I consider this a no, and you should too, right? Because a maybe doesn't exist in sales. Someone is either a client or they're not a client. So it's a yes or a no, right? Super simple. And if you fail to close the prospect on the call, then essentially they've said no, right? So you may as well push for the close. You may as well push for a yes or a no with the prospect, right? It's that simple. People think that a maybe is, oh, the prospect may come back and buy. Well, like, chances are they won't, right? How many calls have you had with prospects where they've gone away? Oh, I need to think about it. Okay, cool. Yeah, of course you need to think about Mr. Prospect. I'll send you a proposal and check back in with you next week, right? Maybe that sounds familiar. And sometimes they might go ahead, but the majority of the time they don't, right? We know they don't. So the sales system, like I said, these 4 points just here, the discovery, the pitch, objection handling, and a close as well, right? So finally, clients, because as you can see, client acquisition can be broken down into a giant system that contains many different subsystems of what we've just spoken about today. You know, these subsystems are essentially designed to move a cold prospect through each stage of the system and then become a client, right? And the point being is that you can systemize and outsource all of these processes once you have a proof of concept. And you never outsource a system that isn't working until you understand every single one of the component parts, right? People think that getting clients is about luck or kind of being in the right place at the right time, and this is completely wrong. Okay? Acquiring clients is essentially about developing the right systems and running those systems day in, day out so that you can predictably generate leads, book appointments, get the prospects to show up, and then have those appointments and close the deals from those appointments, right? That's it. That's the whole client acquisition system as a whole, okay? So in conclusion, I know this has been a decent length video, but obviously we're talking about a massive thing here, client acquisition, right? But what you can see here is merely the tip of the iceberg when it comes to scaling your digital media business, okay? Relying on word of mouth referrals or inconsistent messaging or marketing is never, ever, ever going to get you to where you want to be, right? In your business or in your life. But that's pretty much everything for this video. You know, if you like the video, then give us a like. And if you want to see more straight up business content like this for scaling your digital media business, then of course subscribe, right? It really helps me out. It helps me know that the channel's growing and people are getting value from the content. And of course, if you want help to actually build these systems into your business and not have to go through 7 years of building, scaling and learning these things, essentially the struggle that I had to go through to actually learn these things as well, then I've put a link in the description. Full transparency, it's a video of me trying to sell you something, right? I don't really care if you click the link or not, but if you do, then you'll never ever struggle with clients again. So with that being said, that's everything for this video. Take care and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.